So I often get asked, what's the best workout in the world? And to be honest with you, there isn't a single best workout. But if I were to do one workout for the rest of my life, what would I do? And this isn't just coming from a random dude online who speaks about fitness and bits and bobs and complains about how big his forehead is. This is coming from somebody who's been a professional coach for over a decade now, and it must fit within 2 rules. It cannot exceed 7 exercises total, otherwise I'd end up just doing every good movement out there, and it cannot take me longer than 90 minutes to complete. With those rules in mind and the kind of boundaries set, what is the one workout I would do for the rest of my life if I could only do one? First movement on the list, the wide grip lat pull down. What we're looking for here is just making sure we're working the lats effectively, and the lats are really good at adduction, so doing this. The reason why I chose a wide grip lat pull down over more of a sagittal plane movement is simply because I like a pull down. I think there's merit in getting a vertical pull when later on I'm probably going to include a horizontal pull as well. So it simply is a little bit of difference, a little bit of variety, and simply I'm just choosing a movement I really enjoy and probably my favorite lat dominant movement. Movement number 2 on the list, we're now going to go horizontal. I would like a chest supported wide grip row. This is shifting emphasis away from the lats and more towards the mid and upper back muscles, including the rear delts. The reason why I've specified chest supported is I do not want your lower back to become a limiting factor there. I'm looking at bang for your buck here, and again, if I can reduce how many externals are hindering you, it means we can put more emphasis through the target musculature, which in turn is actually pretty important when I'm very limited for how many movements I could choose. So we started overhead, and now we're doing a wide grip row, be that 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 45 degrees at the upper arm. Either way, just a wide grip horizontal rowing pattern with a chest support, like a chest supported machine row. Next on the list, a flat chest press, ideally machine. Firstly, I've chosen flat because realistically, you are going to get decent recruitment of all relevant pec-related muscle fibers. That's cool, good bang for your buck. We only have one chest movement on the list. Secondly, machine especially. When we're choosing movements to include, we need to reduce as many external limiters as possible. Therefore, I want the most stable movement. One of the things that pecs are really good at, bringing the arm across the body. If we can choose a machine chest press, like it is converging like a dumbbell would, but you're not being held back by the stability limitations of said dumbbells. Again, choosing a flat chest press allows you to converge in a stable manner and work the chest pretty bloody effectively. Next again, a lateral raise. What lateral raise you want to do, be that dumbbell, cable, whatever, it's completely up to you. They're all very similar. I would probably choose a machine lateral raise variation because again, it's stable, it's supported, and you can work the delts really effectively. A lot of people might jump and say, why haven't you done a shoulder press? Well, to be frank with you, we're getting pretty sufficient anterior delt work through the machine chest press we've just done previously. Now I want to work the area of the delts that we're not really getting effectively worked is the lateral delts raising out to the side. We work the anterior delts through a chest press. The rear delts are going to get good stimulus from any pulling motion we're doing. What's being missed here? The lateral delts. So any lateral raise variation is probably going to be pretty good. And if I could only do one shoulder movement in general, that would probably be what I would choose. Next on the list, a leg extension. I'd like to think this is pretty self-explanatory, but if I could only do one quad movement, it's going to be the leg extension because it's one of the few quad movements that actually effectively works all muscles of the quads. If I were to choose a squat pattern, the rect fem would be neglected, for example. So why not choose a movement, if I can only choose one, that will target all heads well? And that is going to be something which literally just straightens the leg with no other movement, such as a very simple leg extension. In addition to that, it's stable, it's pretty bloody accessible, most gyms have it, and quite frankly, it's not going to take too long to warm up for, nor is it going to take too long to perform. And when time is going to be a limiting factor here, it makes sense to choose the one that isn't going to take me half an hour to complete. Very quickly, as always, the link down below in the description and the comment section too is a link to fill in the TFNL coaching application form. This is where you can apply to work with myself on a one-to-one online coaching basis where I can help you achieve your goals, whatever they may be and wherever you may be in the world. Again, it takes 2 minutes to fill in. Once you've done so, I'll send you a quick email explaining things that are involved, what the process looks like, and we'll hop on a free Zoom consultation call where we can talk about things. I can talk about it in a bit greater detail, better understand you, you can better understand me and how it works. Then you can go away and make a decision based on what you believe is right for you. Never any pressure, never any expectations, just know it takes 2 minutes to fill in and it's linked down below. Next, again, a seated hamstring curl or a seated leg curl, your choice. When looking at the hamstrings, their primary function is going to be simply bending the leg, doing that flexion-based position. If I were to choose a hip hinge, there is a chance I'm going to fatigue due to external limiters like my lower back, or maybe my glutes are going to take over, depending on how I do it, or potentially I may not be recruiting all of the areas of the hamstrings I wish to recruit. Whereas if I do a leg curl variation, I'm mitigating all of those issues and avoiding them entirely. So again, yes, it's boring. Yes, it's pretty standard. Like with the leg extension, it doesn't take a lot of time to warm up for. It's not going to take me a lot of time to complete. And when it comes to bang for my butt, I'm going to target the hamstrings really effectively in a very limited time frame, which to me sounds pretty bloody ideal when I'm quite limited. So the last one's a bit of a toss-up here. I was kind of torn between either a hip thrust or like a machine abduction. I think they're kind of interchangeable, but for the sake of just trying to avoid too many machines and make things a bit more enjoyable, and also throw in the excitement of lifting something heavy, I'm going to choose a hip thrust. Sure, I am neglecting the glute med slightly, but we're going to get over that. You work with what you've got. But with a hip thrust, the glutes have really good leverage at extending the pelvis in that shortened range. Therefore, it makes sense to utilize a movement in which the target musculature, being the glutes, seems to thrive. In addition to that, you are going to limit a lot of external variables that could be hindered by implementing something like glute bias RDL or something in which your lower back might be hindered or whatnot. And like I said earlier, you get to choose a movement that you can lift pretty heavy on, which sometimes actually feels quite nice. And one of the big things, even when considering one workout to do for the rest of your life, one of the big things that people neglect to consider is actually enjoying the workout. So if I can look forward and get excited to lifting heavier and heavier on a hip thrust, that's probably going to help me remain more consistent, which is actually pretty important when it comes to choosing a good and effective workout. A big thing here that I know people are going to pipe up about is the order of exercises. To be honest with you, there is no order of exercise. You should order the exercises based on your priorities. If leg training is more important to you, or legs are an area in which you want to develop first, do your leg work first. Again, if your back is more important, do the back movements first and whatever else later. The movements should be ordered based on your personal priorities, which depend on your personal goals, and also your potentially developmental weaknesses and strengths. I haven't ordered them in any priority. I simply just place them as they came to my mind, as I did, for you to then alter and adjust accordingly. And again, I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what you wish to prioritize, and that's freedom for you to use. But like I said, if you can only do one workout, if I can only do one workout, I would choose this full body day because it targets most of the important things pretty bloody effectively. Sure, you can maybe pick and change some movements if you want to. These are simply what I chose based on my opinions, what I like doing, and my desires. It's that simple. And like with all my videos, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying. In fact, you actually may disagree. I'd actually be quite curious to know what movements that I chose would you swap, and what would you swap them to and why? So let me know in the comment section below. As always, thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for tolerating my waffle about only ever doing one workout for the rest of my life, which I hope isn't true. And thank you for tolerating the video.